We are back with another week of Jeff Iafrate's 2025 Detroit Lions Mock Draft 7.0. We are 7 of these in already. It's been a lot of fun, and every week I'm trying to make these more and more realistic as we're getting closer to the NFL draft. I've included today some players that the Lions have met with and some players that I haven't seen at least too much on other people's mock drafts. So I'm very excited about today. I even made a move in this week's mock draft. I decided to trade back out of the first round because it's a possibility that I think is more and more likely as we get closer to the draft. And I will explain why when I show it off. But let's get into it. It's 7.0. So let's start with not our first round pick, but our first NFL draft. And that player is guard Tyler Booker. I traded back to 34. At 28, there wasn't a ton of great options left. So the Lions trade back to 34, pick up one of the best guards in the entire NFL draft. And don't worry, I know people are saying, well, where's the edge? Don't worry, you will get that player. But let me start with Tyler Booker. The Lions have already met with him. If you look up some of the history with Tyler Booker and really his heritage, his uncle played for the Detroit Lions, I believe it is. And he's got high character, very high character, and someone that I think when you draft him at 34, he's going to be able to come in right away. He's going to be able to, I think, take Graham's spot starting at guard and really be a high-level contributor on a rookie contract. Now, he's one of the best offensive linemen in the draft, and you get him at 34, you trade back, you pick up assets in a very deep edge class to go out and get still a really good player. But at this spot, at 34, BPA, in my opinion, was Tyler Booker. Bring him to the Pistons, by the way. But Tyler Booker. And I think this is going to be an excellent pick. I think this is a guy who's going to start a ton of games for you. He's an excellent pass blocker, and that's exactly what you need. Right? You need someone who's young, high upside, can protect Jared Goff. And I think especially him coming from Alabama, we all know Brad loves guys from Bama. All right. And Tyler Booker checks every box that you want to be checked. Character, play on the field, upside, measurables, everything. So I think Tyler Booker would be an excellent pick here at 34. So let's keep it moving. With the next pick, the Lions decide to go with Jordan Burch, the edge out of Oregon at 60. I love Jordan Burch. If you watch our show weekdays, 8 to 10 p.m., we're high on Jordan Burch. 6'6", edge. He's productive. He's super athletic. He's definitely high on the RAS score, which Brad Holmes does look for in defensive linemen. And I think Jordan Burch could come in right away, contribute, and really play in a rotation and give you some solid production, right? He's got the size, the measurables to be not only is he good at rushing the passer, but good against the run. And trust me, play for Oregon, that defensive line, there's going to be some guys getting drafted that are going to be really good players. And I think Jordan Burch has a chance to be the best player from that team on that defensive line. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Jordan Burch. I mean, you look at schools and you look at positions, like he had to practice against that Oregon offensive line, which is going to have some good Josh Conerly, a Johnny Cornelius. Like he had to go against those guys in practice. So I love Jordan Burch. Measurables, the play on the field, checks every box. So I went ahead and took Jordan Burch. You get your edge. So you go guard, edge, first 2 picks of the draft. Now let's get to the next pick. And by the way, I decided to trade up to get this player because, again, it's someone the Lions have met with and someone that I think is a realistic option for the Lions. And I'll explain how I think they'll utilize him in a second, but let's get to it. The Lions trade up to 65 and take Josiah Stewart, the edge / off-ball linebacker from Michigan. And he's productive. He's a very good defensive player. And I think what knocks him is probably his size. He's about 6'1", but he can get after the quarterback. And I think in the league, he'll be a Sam linebacker, which, hey, you have Derek Barnes. But last year, even when Derek went down, you had Trevor Nowatzki. You kind of had to mix and match there at Sam. But now you get someone that not only is going to be a very good player, but someone that will compete for that Sam spot and give you some good snaps at edge. If you need him to rush the passer, on certain passing downs, he can do that. I mean, he did that at Michigan, and he's a part of a very good defense with some really good players. So, again, a player that the Lions have met with. Now, 2 of the 3 picks, Lions have met with these guys, right? Josiah, virtual visit. They also met with him in person. Tyler Booker, they've met in person. I'm not sure on Jordan Burch, but these are 2 realistic options for the Lions here. I mean, these are very, very realistic. So Josiah Stewart, you get another edge. He's at edge, but really he's an off-ball linebacker / edge. He's more of a Swiss Army knife. I guess when you talk about it like that, there's a lot of value he can bring to this defense. And I think Calvin Shepard's going to love this player. Absolutely love him, along with Casey Rogers. But let's keep it moving. With the next pick, the Lions went ahead and drafted a wide receiver that I love. I love Jalen Royals. And if you don't know who Jalen Royals is, please do yourself a favor. Go watch him at the Senior Bowl. Go watch him at Utah State. He does a lot of things very well. He was number 1 in the class in 10-yard split, which is a pretty important metric when looking at wide receivers, 1.49 in the 10-yard split, 3.8 yards per route against man coverage, 3rd in the class, 3 yards per route against all coverage, 4th in the class, and 7.9 yards after the catch per reception, 7th in the class. A very underrated wide receiver, big playmaker. He can do it all. He can go up and grab it. He can make plays after the catch. He can get open against press man. He can do it all. He's got good size, about 6'2". He could play that X wide receiver, but I think someone that's going to be an absolute steal in this class. And I don't know why people aren't talking about him enough, to be honest with you. He's a steal at 102. And I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be one of the more productive players to come out of this draft. So go look up Jalen Royals. He can do it all. Okay, and I know he played at Utah State, didn't play against the greatest competition, but when you look at kind of how he got to Utah State, he has a great story, and he's a very productive player with very, very fast 40. I think he's ran a 4.3 something unofficial, and then he ran a 4.4 official. So very fast, big, can make plays, and can do it all. So Steve Smith loves him. And if you don't respect Steve Smith's opinion, I don't know what you're smoking. But Jalen Royals, a very, very fun player to watch, and honestly, a player of mine that I'm starting to love more and more and more. So at 102, the Lions get a wide receiver. Dan mentioned they want to get younger in the wide receiver room, and you get that in Jalen Royals. So let's keep it pushing here. Please leave your thoughts on that pick, because I haven't picked him yet, and I'm really starting to love this pick, especially at 102. But let's keep it moving. With the next pick, the Lions decide to go with safety Billy Bowman Jr. And I know what you're thinking, really a safety, but hear me out on this. Billy Bowman is a playmaker, all right? And I know you have Kirby, who's, an excellent playmaker, all pro this year, but Billy Bowman gets a ton of interceptions, but more than that, he can really play everywhere. He's a Swiss Army knife. He played in the slot. That's probably where he'll play more in the NFL, but he can play free safety. He can just, you can just drop him back there, have him lurk around and make plays, or you can have him in the slot. I think Billy Bowman, what he would bring to the Lions, would be a player that, if Amik Robertson does not resign, you have a player who has slot experience and a player that's made a ton of plays. So the only really knock on Billy Bowman would be probably his tackling, but that's something that I think is more focus. I don't think that's not about effort, because he's a very fun player to watch. He's a playmaker. And I think in this system with Kelvin, especially Kelvin, being as good of a coach as he is, and Dan Campbell, all the guys that will be around him, they're going to turn this guy into a very, very good player. He's already a really good player, but I think in the NFL, he'll be even better. So again, this isn't replacing Kirby, replacing Brian Branch, but someone that can provide you depth, especially if there are times where Brian's at nickel. You have Billy Bowman who could play deep safety and make plays for you. So another playmaker to this defense, and I think a steal at 130 personally. So let's keep it pushing. All right, next pick. I decided to go with a familiar face, Ty Robinson. This one's a no-brainer. I've had him in a ton of these. He's a good late-round pick, right? John Kaminsky replacement. That's essentially what he is. Kamish can play anywhere on the defensive line. That's essentially Ty Robinson. He seems to be exactly the player the Lions would be looking for. So I think Ty Robinson would be a perfect fit, especially late. I don't even know if he'll last to 228, but if he's there, he's a Detroit Lion. He just fits exactly what they're looking for. Size, effort, motor, versatility. I think he brings a lot to the table there. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Ty Robinson at 228. And to finish off my 7.0 Detroit Lions 2025 NFL mock draft, we decided to take a new player, Drew Kendall, center out of Boston College, formerly a teammate of Christian Mahogany. And he's he's not one of the greatest prospects in the class, but again, he's a capable center, started a ton of games, and again, I mean, if anyone knows about Drew Kendall, it'd probably be Christian Mahogany, but he's very solid. He's 6'4", fits the measurables, of course, but he can kind of do it all. Good pass blocker, good run blocker. I think he allowed 1 sack this year at Boston College. And I think Drew Kendall at 244, you're getting depth at center. They don't really have that besides Graham. So maybe they don't take a center, but to have one, especially late, it's nice. And if it doesn't work out, great. You draft a center next year, but it's worth the swing, in my opinion. I think Drew Kendall's worth it. A player that you could take a chance on, and maybe he develops into a starter. Who knows? But this is my Detroit Lions mock draft 7.0 for the 2025 NFL draft. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. You guys know I really do put a ton of effort into these. I'm not just selecting players. I try and make it make sense why the Lions would take them. Do the Lions have history with these players? And I take a lot of pride in it because you guys enjoy it. So therefore, I got to make sure I'm as accurate and as honest as possible. But leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And check out our live show, 8 to 10 p.m. weekdays. And we will be breaking this and other mocks down tonight as well. But until then, Jeff Iafrate, I will catch you all. Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.